All right. It says Hey, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Thank you for watching. Welcome to Roger and Me, a weekly movie review podcast tribute to Siskel and Ebert, where we review new release movies every week, usually every Friday, in the format pioneered by Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. Today, I am dressed like an Amish person, and Mark is dressed normally, nicely, for us to talk about the Oscars that are on Sunday, the 2026 Oscars. This is our Oscar special. And I'm not sure, Mark, you might know this. This is actually technically our 200th episode of the show. So the next episode of the regular show, the next regular episode will be 201. Technically 200 if you don't count this, but we count this because this will be on the main feed. And we would love to make this a traditional live show Oscar predictions. I don't know how the YouTube comments are working. I'm going to pull up my phone to the YouTube channel so I can see the comments because I thought I'd be able to see them in this channel here, but I don't. So that's okay. Or maybe there's just nobody talking, which is totally
There might,
fair.
and that's fine. I've got the channel open too, so I can keep an eye. If anybody comes in and chats, we're gonna save any kind of comments or chats, questions, all that for the end. Just kind
Yes.
of keep things clean for the show itself. And then yeah, if you come in and talk to us, we'll respond.
Yes, we're very accessible, especially today. I had to throw on the beanie because I meant to get a haircut. I also ordered a bow tie, hastily ordered a bow tie, and it, of course, did not fit. So here we are. I see some comments. We got Peter Cunnington. Hey, guys. We've got Ronald Pickenpaw, who I know from an internet forum back in the day, if you can believe it. I know who that is. What's up, dude? He says justice for Billy Crudup. I understand that perspective. We'll talk about it. All the stars are here. Peter Cunnington, Lee Cole, CZ. Everyone is here. Michael Martinez, Carrie Mulligan's in the house. I knew Carrie Mulligan would be here. To be clear, that's Carrie Mulligan 1403, who may or may not be the real Carrie Mulligan. We don't know. We don't know that it's not. Anyway,
I'm just surprised Carrie's not at a movie right now because they see everything.
yeah,
Like
Carrie
us.
Mulligan is probably watching this show right now from the AMC where he or they have an A-list membership, maybe a Regal Unlimited.
Yeah, you will get through like 30 minutes of trailers watching it at least, so that's good. You'll
Yeah.
have something to preoccupy your mind while all that stuff goes.
Solid Snake 1989, that's got to be Rob. He
It's got to
asked,
be.
"Is that your wedding suit, Mark?"
It is not.
Okay, good.
I have that, and I have a couple of other blazers and stuff, and I have way too many ties.
Yeah, see, I'm not a tie guy. I mean, I have them. There's no one else in my house right now. I need a second party for a tie. I'm of the generation that didn't grow up tying ties. Definitely like could have figured it out on YouTube, but it was too late. I just tried my bow tie on 5 minutes before I was supposed to wear it, and it did not work. So here we are. I look goofy as hell. That's what you're getting on YouTube that you're missing on the podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say
Uh,
all this talk is fantastic for the audio only podcast.
yeah,
Everyone listening to this after the fact is like, yeah, this is great.
nice. My
But
aunt,
it is what you're missing. Come watch it
yes,
on YouTube.
yes, my aunt and
Double
uncle are
dip.
watching. There's viewers all over the country, probably a little localized in the Chicago area and possibly the Brooklyn area. All right, let's get into things, Mark.
Yep.
So, oh God, what are these comments saying? Brett's rocking the Tom Cruise suit in Rain Man. Carrie Mulligan's reporting live saying that they're going to watch Slanted in a few hours, but they've already seen Reminders of You in Undertone. It's impressive, impressive work.
Go.
Um, Leonardo Lopez, frequent commenter, thanks for commenting, says the Oscars may be seen like a joke, but I will always be excited for it because I love film that much. Let's start predicting. You're right. Thanks for the intro, Leonardo Lopez. Go ahead, Mark. Let's start with Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
just a real quick thing about the format we're doing here. We are doing like old school, if we pick the winners, Siskel Ebert style. So we're not doing a comprehensive show. That would take too long.
Yes.
We don't have like 3 hours to go through every single thing and tell you what was missed, what we would vote for, and what we think will happen. Because
I mean, do we have 3 hours? Technically, probably.
Probably,
Does Mark want to eat that delicious food that's in the next room that I know is wafting in like Looney Tunes style? Right.
yes,
now? That's probably
I
a factor as well.
definitely do. So we're going to cover the major ones and a couple of smaller, ones that we think are interesting and worth talking about. So that's what we're going to do. And yes, we will start, like I think most of the Oscar ceremonies in recent years, with supporting actor. And
Yes.
this year, the nominees are Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn for One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. This is kind of a tight race as far as I understand it. I think this one is way up in the air for people. So I think everyone's going to be interested. I don't even know if our predictions are going to be the same.
No,
but I will tell you
go ahead.
that if I had a vote, I would hands down, no second thoughts, vote for Jacob Elordi as the creature in Frankenstein in this category.
Who's like absolutely, I feel like it's an honor to be nominated situation where I don't feel like anybody actually has him winning. So I like that pick.
I don't think anyone is predicting him, but I think he gives the best performance of those listed. We talked at the end of the year episode last year. I discussed that. I think that he was the top pick, so I was thrilled to see him nominated. He brings such vulnerability to the creature, and it feels such in tune with Mary Shelley's vision of that character in a way that I don't think we've seen depicted on screen. A lot of actors have done it. I mean, Boris Karloff famously brought some level, but he was also trying to be intimidating and frightening. Robert De Niro in Kenneth Branagh's version, it brings a little bit of that. I think that was like some miscasting mostly, although I really do like Branagh's Frankenstein. But I think that Guillermo del Toro's vision is really well done, and Elordi is the broken heart and soul of that film, and I think he carries it all the way through and makes up for some of del Toro's maybe mistakes in other bits of casting of that movie. But whatever, we're talking about Elordi. He's fantastic in this. He has my vote if I were voting.
If I were voting from these 5, which is again Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another.
You're on actor.
What? Oh,
we're doing supporting actor.
Sorry. I Googled the wrong thing. This is what you get with the live show.
Yep.
Okay, so the nominees for this again are Delroy Lindo in Sinners, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi in Frankenstein, Sean Penn in One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård. If I were voting from this batch, it's so tough, Mark. When I saw One Battle After Another, the first thought I had was Sean Penn's winning an Oscar for this role. And I said that on the podcast, I'm sure. I said that in my review on Yahoo for sure. And it seemed like a long shot throughout the award season, which is way too long this year because the Oscars still haven't happened and it's March 13th. Why are we still talking about movies from last year? Pretty wild. But anyway, it's hard for me not to pick Sean Penn just because I'm like seeing through the vision or whatever. But I think it's awesome that Delroy Lindo got nominated. It feels like one of those like, we didn't nominate you before. For everyone thought that the Five Bloods was his moment. He didn't get it, and I'm glad he's got the nomination here. So if I were voting, I think I would go Delroy Lindo with this crew of 5 guys. But of course, we can get into who we would have had in there that the Academy didn't get in there, which we can do in a second. But let's go with our actual. This is who we think will win on Oscar Sunday. Who do you think's taking home Best Supporting Actor?
I'm gonna go out on a limb just because he was not, if I remember correctly, he was not nominated for the Screen Actors Guild Award, and I think that is kind of a thing that's throwing people off. I think Stellan Skarsgård is going to win supporting actor. He is the first, I believe, the first foreign language performance to be nominated in the category. That's a thing. Skarsgård's been working in movies over, in Norway and in Hollywood for decades. And I think everybody loves and respects him. And the fact that he wasn't up for the SAG Award for whatever reason, I think that his presence in this category throws a big wrench into what people are thinking in terms of those predictions. I think he's going to walk home with it.
That's so interesting. So I do think we should acknowledge up top here that the best thing about this award season, I joked about it being long. What's most exciting about it is that it is kind of unresolved. Usually there's like narratives that set in and you know exactly what's going to win every category. This year, I would say there's one lock and then everything else is like between a couple things. And then there's also like spoilers in each of those categories. So I do think Sean Penn could win this award. I think Delroy Lindo could win this award. And I think Stellan Skarsgård could win this award. So it's really hard for me to say who's going to win. Based on the precursors and whatnot, I think I'm going to go with Sean Penn.
I think it's a safe choice. He's won twice already, and
they love him.
He is fantastic in One Battle After Another, obviously.
I do think the night is largely going to be like a big split between Sinners and One Battle. Maybe they'll each get the same amount even because of the splitting of what's going on there. Of course, with the, Jesse Buckley sneaking in, spoiler alert. Well, I guess that's next, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll get right into that. We have a lot of comments here. I don't know. Do you see the mark on the screen? I put them on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's very small on our screen.
Okay. Make it bigger. Those are the most incoming ones.
So there we go.
I'll read the ones that you haven't seen yet.
I also have the YouTube channel up, so I can scroll.
I don't know if the listeners can see the comments on the screen. I don't think they can. I think that's just for us.
No, it is just for us.
Very interesting. Okay. Best Supporting Actor is probably the most stacked category this year, says Ronald Pickampaw. I want Delroy to win. Lee Cole says Justice for Nosferatu. My Uncle Byron says Sean Penn. I agree. He said that before I said it, to be clear. Michael Martinez says Delroy. Rob says I went with Sean Penn in all groups last year. Yeah, I believe I also did in my group. I'm only in one. Alan says Sean Penn. Leonardo Lopez says hopefully Sean Penn will actually show up to an award show this time as opposed to being out of action for most of the season. Yeah, he wasn't at most of the precursors where he won, and he was at the Golden Globes where Elordi won, I believe, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and he was smoking at his table all night. He was smoking cigarettes at his table all night. So, like, I do hope he shows up because I do think he might win. Although he has talked about melting down his Oscars in the past and giving them to. He already gave one to what's his name, Zelensky in Ukraine. So I don't know how much he cares about winning. I don't think not at all. Actually, I think he's made clear he doesn't care. But Stellan won the Golden Globe. So then was it Elordi won the Critics' Choice? Elordi won something. But if he shows up, will he be smoking? Yes, I think absolutely 100%. No one's gonna tell him to put it out. He's smoking. Sean Penn is smoking. Jim Carrey in 1994 style. That's a Mask reference, everybody. Okay, Best Actress. This one is the only lock, as I mentioned. Jessie Buckley for Hamnet is the winner of this category. But let me the actual nominees read. I have them here, sorry. Emma Stone for Begonia. Emma Stone is gunning for or has already tied Meryl Streep's record of nominations, I believe, in this category. She will surpass it in her career because they love to nominate her, and it's not worthy. It's a great role. It's a great performance from Emma Stone in Begonia. Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You. Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. Renate Reinsve in Sentimental Value. and Kate Hudson in Song Sung Blue, a movie that Mark and I both quite enjoyed. That I feel like some people don't take seriously as a contender, but I like that it snuck in the correct category because she does outshine Hugh Jackman in that movie. I think she's much better than him in that movie. So if I were going to vote in this category of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 women in Best Actress, oh wait, sorry, I'm fucking up because I want to say, should we save all the who we would have nominated for later and just go through predictions?
Oh, we can do whatever. I mean, I didn't have a strong feeling on supporting actor.
Oh, I have so many. I have so many.
Oh, well,
I
then
mean,
we can talk about some snubs maybe at the end of it. That's
okay,
fine.
great. We'll do
Yeah,
that.
that'll work.
Great. So Buckley, Byrne, Reinsva, Hudson, Stone. I'm voting for Rose Byrne because I think it's really cool that a movie of this, not just size. I mean, it was A24 doesn't make just small movies anymore. Whatever. It was a relatively small movie, but this movie is a very like art house cinema movie that you'd never really see a movie like a Mary Bronstein movie in the Academy Awards, and now there's two in the household because she's married to what's his name, who worked on Marty Supreme, uh, her husband, whose name I'm blanking on because I'm live on a podcast, but we all know who he is. So yeah, I think Rose Byrne, not only because it's like fun that the movie's nominated, but I do think it's easily one of the best performances of the year and probably the best performances of the ones nominated here.
Yeah, if I could vote, I would also vote for Rose Byrne, and if I had legs, I'd kick you. I think she is fantastic. She was easily on my ballot when I was doing my own awards voting. She didn't quite make the top. When we talk about snubs, we'll talk about the person who is at the top. I think of both of our lists for Best Actress more than likely.
Yes.
But
Everyone's yelling Ronald Bronstein at me. Yes, that's his name. Ronald
Okay,
Bronstein.
there we go. Because I was trying to look it up real quick. That's why I was delayed in trying to say something.
Yes.
Yeah, Rose Byrne is fantastic. I think we're going to actually talk about her in a very good performance next week in a movie too.
Yes.
So she's still working. She's still showing that she is great. And I think If I Had Legs, I Kick You, which is such a frightening movie about parenthood and the pressures of that and everything else. And she just goes for it in that performance in a way that you don't expect. So she would have my vote too. And then the easiest lock of the night of who will win Best Actress. If anybody gets this wrong, this is entirely on you. And you've already said it, so I'm gonna say it too. Jessie Buckley is winning Best Actress. It is a lock. There is no one else who could take this away from her.
Yeah, I'm assuming like the Kalshi odds aren't very good on betting on that, so I won't say bet on it. But I don't know. People, if there's any interesting in like spoiler odds on Rose Byrne's surprise win, put money on that. Maybe this is not gambling.
We're not even saying gamble.
No, I mean we're sponsored by Kalshi after all. No, we're not. But I'm listening.
No, we're definitely not.
You can email me. We'll talk. I don't know. It does feel like Jessie Buckley's a lock. The only factor is the fake Norbit factor that I joked about. I'm not sure if I joked about it on this podcast, but the fact that The Bride came out last week and everyone kind of thought, or not everyone, I definitely thought Jessie Buckley gave a bad performance, but I think it was a script level problem. And it's kind of not true. The voting was still open, I think, technically, the day it came out, or maybe the Thursday it came out before the Friday. I don't remember. But like, it's kind of far-fetched to think that enough people would see The Bride and be put off by it enough to say I'm not voting for Jessie Buckley anymore. I now have a listener saying they're going to bet $2,000 on Byrne now. All right. If you win, if you win, that will be. If you win, we do want 10%. If you lose, it's on you. That's kind of the rule.
I think that sounds fair.
I think that's fair as well. Okay. Do you want to do the next one?
I was trying to think. Actually, I had something to say, and now I can't remember. Oh well,
it's okay.
That's where we get to.
I don't have any.
Oh, that was it about the Bride. The good thing for Buckley, who I also think I think she's generally great. I think you're right. This problem with her performance in The Bride is just on a script level. There's too much stuff going on in that role.
No one could make
way to play. No one could make
Gollum, Mary Shelley screaming stuff work. Like it's so on its face bad, and they kept doing it for so long. Eventually, they drop it, but
also if you saw the box office returns to The Bride, nobody saw The Bride, and so therefore, the chances that any Academy voters saw it.
Also, the new flesh numbers for The Bride, like noticeably lower than other movies that are new releases. Nobody saw that fucking movie. but maybe it'll be a hit on streaming when it hits. Who made that movie? WB. So
Yeah,
it'll be on. God, where do W? I think
it'll be on
Netflix,
Paramount Plus slash
Paramount Plus.
HBO
Is that what
soon
it is? Oh yeah, yeah.
because it's gonna
HBO,
switch.
HBO.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're gonna buy it.
it
Hopefully
would
they
be
won't buy
HBO,
it.
right? Uh,
Hopefully they won't buy it, but
a
we'll
lot of red
find
tape
out.
going on there. Do you know what's next, Mark?
I do. Next, we are
Okay.
going to talk about. I said we're going to do some smaller categories. We both thought this was an interesting one to talk about just because of the
It is
quality
another
of some of
lock
these movies,
though, but
and
I
I
do
think
think
it.
it's interesting to talk about.
Oh, I don't know if it's a lock,
Oh,
but we'll find
interesting.
out. I actually want to talk about it because I think it'll show the course of the night and might be a good sign or bad sign for certain movies. We're going to talk about best production design. Yes, it's very exciting. The nominees for production design are Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. Now, if I had a ballot, hands down, again, I would vote for Frankenstein.
Well,
I
you're going to be very happy because it's going to win.
Oh, I don't think it is. So there
Really?
we
Is that
go.
not the
Yeah.
odds? Is that not what people are saying?
It very well could be the odds, but I'm going with a
Oh,
different prediction. But I think Frankenstein looks amazing. All of the, there's a lot of digital Netflixy stuff in it, which I still think works okay. But all of those sets, those glorious sort of silent movie, classic Hollywood castles, interiors, and all of the just Frankenstein's lab in that with that giant pit going down towards hell, essentially, where he's going to create the creature, is
yeah.
so striking. The movie looks fantastic, as Del Toro's films often do, especially just on a practical, tactile level. So easily my vote would go to Frankenstein. I don't think it's going to be yours because you're not as
Yeah,
big on
no.
Frankenstein as I am.
I do think it will win. The cat I think it's really going to win. I feel like it won the precursors and stuff like that, and like it seems like a lock. And I remember I was at the Critics' Choice Awards, sitting there as it won a bunch of stuff it wasn't really expected to win, and then the narrative was kind of set. So I do think it is going to win. What do you have? Do you have Sinners winning, or was that like? Well, let's say what we would. Oh, you already said.
Yeah,
what you would
what
say.
I already
Yeah.
said. Yeah, what would you vote for?
I would vote for Marty Supreme, Jack Fisk. I mean, that movie looks great. I love that, people are like, how does that movie cost so much money? It's like because it's set in the 50s and it's convincing in every shot. And it's really well done. Jack Fisk is an iconic production designer. I think that movie, it's gonna be snubbed from everything. I don't think it's gonna win anything. But I'm glad it got nominated so many times. You'd think it would have a better shot at something. But I feel like when all is said and done, it's not going to have anything. So I would vote for Marty Supreme, but the Academy is going to pick Frankenstein.
I think Oscar voters are going to go for Sinners. I think what's going to happen, it's going to be a precursor for the night. You're going to see what's going to happen. If Frankenstein walks away with more of the technical categories than Sinners does, you can kind of count on Sinners not having a great night. But if Sinners, as I think it will, starts racking up things like production design and cinematography and other things that it's nominated for on a technical level, I think then you actually do have a competition that everybody's talking about where it's between Sinners and One Battle After Another. I don't think it is as big a competition. We'll talk about that obviously later.
Yeah.
But I think if you start seeing Sinners winning more and more on the technical level, I think you could make a good argument that that at the end of the night, we don't know for sure what's going to win.
Yeah, I'm so excited just because it is so unresolved. We don't know what's going to win in these big categories. God, so Sinners, I feel like there's option A, option B, and option C for the whole night. And their option A, or I don't know, I don't want to say option A because that implies it's like the option. I'm just saying there's three scenarios. It doesn't matter A, B, or C. But A is, say, Sinner's Sweep, where it is unexpectedly performs in a sweep and does, like, as Mark's saying, all the technical categories, and then maybe it ends up taking Best Picture in a split where PTA gets Best Director or something like that. Like, that's totally possible. But I still think we'll talk about it. We'll talk about other scenarios in a minute because that's what we're doing later. But
I still do think Sinners has such a strong file. Obviously, I mean, it's the most nominated film in Academy Awards history.
And I have the urge to watch it all the time. Like, I've watched it more than any other movie this year. Maybe it's because I have the 4K and like it looks great and it sounds great, and parts I used to not look forward to or I thought was bad. Like, I was like, yeah, the second half is whatever. But like, I love when Jack O'Connell gets introduced, and it's just such a fun movie. And I love them. I feel like I get more from it every time I watch it. And I wouldn't be mad at all if it won Best Picture. I think it'd be very exciting, but I just don't think that's what's going to happen. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I think it's your turn. Yes, you're
All
up
right,
now.
best actors next for us. So, all right, let me read the best actor categories that I almost read earlier, or that I did sort of half read earlier. So here we got Michael B. Jordan for Sinners in a dual role, Smoke and Stack. He's only nominated once. Is that fair? Should he be nominated twice? I'm just kidding. Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another. Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, which I fucking love that. I love that they nominated him for this movie. Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, and Wagner Moura, The Secret Agent. Now, I feel like there's a scenario brewing here that could lead to like a spoiler situation where like Wagner Moura wins or something. Like that's a scenario. But I think, well, first of all, if I were picking in my ballot from these five guys, I would go with Ethan Hawke because that movie is such a delight. I wouldn't expect that understated of a movie, a small movie like that, even though it's Linklater. I wouldn't expect it to get this much attention from the Academy. And I think it's the only nomination for it. Or is there's a screenplay nomination too? Is that right?
Yeah, it was also nominated for screenplay.
Yeah, which makes sense because it's a great screenplay.
It is a fantastic script.
So I think that I don't know. I would vote for Hawke, and I think he's also like a spoiler where it could be split to the point where Hawke takes it home. But am I supposed to say both, or are you going to say yours?
Oh, let me. Yeah, I'll just go in. I'll jump in, and yeah, I think Ethan Hawke would be my vote as well, easily. I mean, yeah, Blue Moon. He's fantastic
on Netflix now. If you haven't seen Blue Moon,
yeah, if you haven't, check it out. It's easily, I think, the best performance of the year. It's one of Hawke's best, other than maybe First Reformed, where he wasn't nominated, and that was everything that was leading me up to thinking that Ethan Hawke, from the beginning of award season, was a lock to win Best Actor, just because everybody loves him. Everybody has seen him over the decades grow as an actor and take on these roles like in Blue Moon that are challenging and that you don't expect him to play, but that he plays so well and with such intensity and heart and vulnerability and courage and all of that that you're expecting now from Ethan Hawke. And then some things happened, and this category is another one that everyone I know is trying to figure out what to predict, because I Bleav all the precursors have been different. I don't think anyone has won multiple things. Timothy Chalamet won, I Bleav, the Golden Globe for comedy. I don't keep up with these, so apologies if I don't know for sure. Walter Moura won for the best drama Golden Globe. And then
Chalamet won Critics' Choice, I Bleav.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't win. I'd try to anyway. The point is, for me, I thought if Ethan Hawke wins Screen Actors Guild, that will show that the biggest voting block of the Academy loves Ethan Hawke and admires and respects Ethan Hawke. I still think they do, obviously, enough to give him this award and say, yeah, we've been watching you this entire time. We know we're going to get it. And then Michael B. Jordan won the Screen Actors Guild Award, and that's my prediction.
Speech. Yeah,
I think Michael B. Jordan's going to win.
Yeah, me too. That's my prediction for as well, and it's great. I'm happy. I would be delighted if he won. I think he's awesome.
He's an amazing actor. I've thought he's been great since before Creed, Fruitvale Station, Creed, Black Panther. He plays one of, if not the best Marvel villain.
Did you watch The Wire?
I haven't watched The Wire.
Oh, great show.
We're gonna have that talk. I haven't seen The Wire.
Oh yeah. I mean, put it on the list.
I will. I'm trying to get through Peaky Blinders right now. I'm almost done with it.
Oh God, I was gonna say I haven't committed to watching that movie because I haven't watched that show, so I just wasn't gonna deal with it. Good on you. It's good.
The show, yeah, the show's fun.
Okay, all right. A lot of comments. Yeah, we got a lot of people. Ronald rooting for Chalamet, but Michael B. Jordan would be amazing. Lee wants Leo. It's no doubt a top 3 performance from him, and I'm annoyed he won an Oscar for a bottom 5 performance, The Revenant. I agree. I mean, that's what it was. At that moment, it was like, finally give it to him, is what the feeling was then. And like, he has since put in such many more interesting performances than that. The Wolf of Wall Street was after that, right? Like, yeah, like that's a better performance.
Easily.
Probably one of his best.
He probably should have won for that.
Probably should have won for that.
Just for the Quaalude scene.
Yes. And in another year, one battle he should have won for. But like this year, it's like he's not even a part of the conversation. Like, again, anyone could sneak through. It's possible, but
this year is such a great
It's a wealth.
It's such a great category. And there's such different performances too. Michael B. Jordan is doing dual roles where he's playing completely different characters, but also who feel similar in certain ways. Wagner Mora is playing this very subdued, like almost unnoticeable performance in Secret Agent, and he's fantastic in that. And then yeah, Ethan Hawke doing great sort of theatrical work. DiCaprio playing a bumbling fool better than anybody else at the moment, and Timothy Chalamet is also great as Marty and Marty Supreme. It's a wealth of riches in that category. It's gonna whoever wins is gonna deserve it, I think.
Carey Mulligan with a very important point. Don't forget Michael B. Jordan in that awkward moment, everyone's favorite comedy. You probably jest, but my wife loves that movie. It's like a popular movie for people who don't watch many movies a year. Like, no insult to them. Like, my wife just doesn't watch that many movies. And that was a movie she referenced as like a funny movie she liked when we started dating. And I hadn't seen it until that point. Michael B. Jordan, Miles Teller, and a third person. Zac Efron, maybe? I think that's what it was. Anyway,
It sounds right.
yeah, it sounds right. And there's some funny, like A-list now women in there too. I couldn't tell you those. Carey Mulligan, I'm sure will tell me in a minute. I hope. It's not your job. Don't. I know you have to see movies. Carey Mulligan, don't worry about it. Mark, give me supporting actress.
Supporting actress. The nominees in that category are Elle Fanning in Sentimental Value. Oh crap! I should have looked up this.
I mean, yeah,
we're live. We're live.
Hello. I've just been Googling it every time. Very prepared.
Inga Ibsater Lilius in Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan in Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku in Sinners, and Tiana Taylor in One Battle After Another. I think we're both on the same page here. If I could vote, I would vote for the most memorable horror villain in recent years. A character so frightening and so intriguing, and then brought to life perfectly by Amy Madigan in Weapons, playing Aunt Gladys. It's not a big performance. She doesn't have a lot of screen time, but I think that memorability level has to go a long way. That I'm going to be thinking about Aunt Gladys for a while in terms of creepy characters who feel familiar but are still just scary. I think she is great in it. Those scenes of her showing how she performs her tricks, I guess, to brainwash people. Have seen Weapons at this point. We could talk about it.
Yeah, Weapons is hugely popular. It's on HBO Max. If you haven't seen it, check it out.
Yeah, they're so subdued and so chilling as she's doing all of that routine stuff while also being very funny, just trying to be a normal person while asking for a bowl of water. It's a great performance.
If I watch
really fantastic character.
If I watch one movie between now and Oscar Sunday, it will be Weapons, because I haven't seen it since theaters, and I think that performance has stuck with me, and it's so chilling. Besides being like, it's just like an impressive performance in so many ways, but it really is creepy. And like, that kid deserves credit too. I think his name's Kerry Christopher, that she's like tormenting in the house, essentially. That kid's really good too. Weapons is awesome. It's so cool that it's got one nomination and that it's actually going to win, I think. That's really exciting stuff. So yeah, we both would vote for Amy Madigan, I think, and they're going to vote for Amy Madigan is how this one works out. But Tiana Taylor's won some precursors and is a very strong contender for this category, and same in the same vein as doesn't have a lot of screen time, but makes the most of it, and is like, there's like a, she has like a magnetism that's lost when she exits the picture, and you do feel it, and that's got to count for something. Wunmi Mosaku did win a precursor in the BAFTA, but it's kind of like I believe she's a British actress, so it's like that makes sense. And wouldn't make, it wouldn't, it's a great performance, and it's totally possible. If Sinners is having the A scenario where it wins everything unexpectedly, it's totally possible. That's like, that is split so much. And there's 2 sentimental value noms here, and Inga has been talked about a lot more so than Elle Fanning. So this could go a number of ways, but it seems like Amy Madigan's, it's easy money, I guess.
It seems that way. So again, if anybody wants to vote for one of those other ones, then maybe send some donations our way for the show to keep it going. If you win, that'd be great. But again, we're not encouraging betting, but
It's
Everybody
out
do what you do.
there. It's out there. If you want to sponsor the show and you have a dangerous gambling service, let us know. Someone's asking who wrote the theme to the show. If you mean our show, it's based off of the old At the Movies theme. I think the first one. Um, but it's made by a friend of mine, friend of the show. His name's Banshee Beat is his artist name, and it's awesome.
Hmm.
Who else do we have here? I like that Brett can correctly pronounce Winmi Musaku's name, but always can't say, but calls her Florence Pug. Yes, I do call her Florence Pug. Now that it's become a joke, I stick with it because it's funny. And it's a cute name, no matter how you slice it. Let's go to a fun category, which is Best Director, which this feels like a lock category, but let's talk about it because there actually could be, again, there's an option A scenario where this isn't a lock like I thought it would be. It's sorry, I'm pulling up the nominees here. It's Ryan, excuse me, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, um, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. I believe these are the nominees. Um, it's between Paul and Ryan, straight up, and it seemed like a lock for PTA, and I think it is a lock for PTA. But in that Sinners scenario where it sweeps, I think he might get it. But I don't know. In that scenario where it sweeps, I think PTA could still win this, and it wins Best Picture in an not an upset, but like in a kind of a surprise. And I would be so delighted if that happens. But anyway, if I were voting in this 5 category of Coogler, Anderson, Zhao, Trier, Safdie, I love that Safdie got in there. I think it's an incredibly well directed movie. I think it goes to Anderson. I would vote for Paul Thomas Anderson, who's never won an Oscar before, and feels like they really made him wait it out till he made a movie they felt was worthy, and now they're showering him in nominations. And it won a lot of he won a lot of precursors. I think I would definitely vote for him, and I think he will win too. So I'll just say it. But Mark, go ahead. Who would you vote
Yeah,
for?
I would vote for Paul Thomas Anderson easily because, yeah, in one, I think it's a career award. This is a man who directed Boogie Nights, Magnolia, The Master, There Will Be Blood. All of those movies easily could have won Best Director if he had been nominated for some of them. But he hasn't yet, somehow. And now he comes out with this incredible balancing act of a film, which is a political thriller, a political satire. It feels very much of our moment in a way that how could he have predicted some of this stuff happening, but he somehow did. It is such an incredible display of directorial vision and control. There's nobody else. There's nobody else I would vote for other than Paul Thomas Anderson in this category. And then the big question is, will he win it just because it is that kind of accomplishment and it's a career award? Or will Ryan Coogler, who also has very much a movie of the moment and also has already had quite a career with
Yes,
with this Fruitvale Station and Creed and a lot of other
I
things
think
with Michael B.
Creed should have.
Jordan.
I think Creed should have not just been nominated, but won Best Picture that year. I think Creed is an incredible 5-star movie. 4 stars for this podcast.
Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't nominated for Best Picture too, but what are you gonna do? It's so good. But yeah, Coogler has been, doing very solid work, and then he does Sinners, which comes out of nowhere, doing that period music relationship drama that turns into a horror movie out of nowhere and handles it so well. I think people might, if they're not, taken aback by like, oh, we can't give it to a horror movie, maybe they'll overlook the fact it's a horror movie and look at the better part of it, I think, which is all of
Yeah.
that stuff at the beginning, the setup to the horror stuff, which is so good. I mean, just that sequence, that era's sequence where they're
Yes, which I
in the
think will
juke joint.
be recreated at the Oscars based on
Oh, I hope so.
who they have performing during the show. They kind of spoiled, if I don't want to spoil it for everybody else, but they've kind of in a feat of PR attempts to get people to watch the show, they've spoiled every cool detail of what's happening. So I
Yeah.
think that's happening.
It'll still be
Yeah.
good to watch.
Yes, it'll be great. But yeah. So the one reason I think Coogler is still like a distinct possibility, even though I do think it's PTA's, is that it's like a narrative in Oscar world that 2 movies that have won Best Picture from Black filmmakers have not also won Best Director, which like usually is the thing that happens, right? They kind of go in together. I can't even remember. I'm assuming they were nominated, but maybe they weren't. I have to look into that. But they didn't win. Those movies are splits with who won director and who won Best Picture. So it would be like a narrative thing for like Brian Coogler to win if the movie win Best Picture. It would be like a stat where he's the first Black director to win the award, and because there have been Black directors who made films that won Best Picture, but they never won Best Director. So I think that's like they love narratives at the Oscars. So if people are paying attention to that stuff, it's possible. But I do think this is Paul Thomas Anderson's award, and that's like kind of award blogger brain thought that I just threw out there. I don't think it's like a more than likely scenario is PTA. All right.
Sorry, I was doing my research real quick. Didn't Steve McQueen win for 12 Years a Slave?
Did he?
I thought he.
I don't think he did.
Maybe I'm completely out of the blue on that.
I don't
think a Black American director has won the Academy Award yet, which is crazy. But anyway, we'll figure that out because I really did think so. Let's see. It's me, right?
No, it was Cuarón for
Oh, it was, wasn't it? Why did? Oh, because he produced it too, so he showed up for the Best Picture win. Thank you. Okay, I just remember him being on stage, and I really thought, and he deserved it. So, oh wow,
yes. So yeah, there's like narratives out there.
Yeah, there are
that exist, but again PTA.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah. Real quick, Leonardo Lopez, I saw, asked if I had considered watching Sinners. I have been considering rewatching Sinners since it came out. If I'm going to try to get to it before the Oscars, just because I have not had a chance.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
I know.
Check it out.
And if it wins Best Picture, I will probably rewatch it after the award ceremony that night, just because I can.
I've watched that in One Battle, I think probably the same number of times now, because I watched One Battle with my wife at some point as well.
Near the end of the year, I was so busy catching up with all the stuff that I thought would make my list that I just catching up with just movies in general, but rewatching stuff that I'm like, where is this going to place on my list? That didn't get to Sinners.
I think it's so exciting that probably my two best movies of the year, or among my top 5, are like the two front runners. It doesn't happen that often. I was just as excited when Oppenheimer was sweeping, which was a great movie.
Yeah, that was. Yep.
All right,
I think that still might be our longest review ever. Was Oppenheimer.
Well, it's fitting. It's one of the longest.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Covered probably.
Yeah. So we are going to, international feature is what we are doing next. Let me pull up this is an interesting category beyond the fact that we like to highlight films from outside of the United States when we can. It's also an interesting category for a reason we'll get to. Best international feature film. The nominees are It Was Just an Accident from France, The Secret Agent from Brazil, Sentimental Value from Norway, Sirat from Spain, and The Voice of Hind Rajab from Tunisia. This is an interesting category.
It's interesting that you said from France. I didn't even realize it was like a co-production, because to me it's an Iranian film, but it's a French
it is. But
film. Okay.
Yeah, but he wasn't
French
supposed
submitted
to make it in Iran.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah,
this is an interesting category just because 4 of the 5 nominees were all distributed in the United States by Neon, and we could probably get the snub out of the way. I think everybody thought this category near the end of the year was going to be a 5 Neon picture category, because no other choice should have been in there, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so that's unfortunate. I mean, whatever, Neon isn't always great to us as critics. I'll just throw that out there. They're getting better. They are getting better this year. And they also have probably one of the best films of the year out right now, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
The fact that they got that movie to make any amount of money is incredible, and it's doing a great job. I know a lot of it's on the filmmakers themselves and stuff, but they've really did a good job with that movie. That movie is going to make a profit, and it's crazy because it has the most like inside joke title that why would anyone understand what this is sell, but they did it. So good job.
But back to this and away from Neon, because if I could vote for international feature film at the Oscars, I would vote for The Voice of Hind Rajab, which is just a devastating film that uses a real life event in Gaza of a young girl who is caught in a war zone, calls the Gaza Red Crescent Society to try to get out of there so they can send paramedics and rescue services to her, and nobody can go because of all of the communication breakdown or lack of desire to actually save this girl on the part of multiple people in both governments, essentially just not being able to communicate. And it is devastating. There's no other word for it. It will make you think very badly about us as human beings just because of everything that happens in this film. But it is an important film, and it is an incredibly made film.
Yeah.
It was one of my very top films of the year last year. I know that the big reason it wasn't for you is just because it's so hard to watch.
Oh yeah, no.
But
I mean,
it's
I think it's great, and I'm glad it's nominated. But yeah, it's a tough sit. It's definitely a tough sit. But again,
yeah,
I'm very glad it's nominated. So you would vote for The Voice of Henry Job.
yes.
Okay. I would vote for The Secret Agent, which I think is a great movie, and definitely the second most likely to win here. The first most likely to win, I'll just get to it, is Sentimental Value, which feels like this is as far as locks go, that's kind of a lock. It feels like they love that movie. They showered it with nominations. There's so many performance nominations. Isn't there a director nomination? It just seems like the writing's on the wall that Sentimental Value is going to win. But I would pick The Secret
I'm
Agent.
I will go ahead, talk about The Secret Agent
No,
a
I
little
mean
more
it's
if
a
you want
great
to.
movie. It's like,
It is.
One Battle After Another is about fascism, and so is this in like a very different way. About this one's about like memory, and I just was so interested in the framing device and the way into the story. Even if you think you don't like foreign movies, I think The Secret Agent's a great like just watch it anyway movie, much more so than Sentimental Value, which I think is such an Oscar baity, boring movie from a filmmaker I love, from Joachim Trier, who thanks Rob for telling me how to pronounce that correctly. Joachim Trier, one of my favorite filmmakers, but Sentimental Value did nothing for me. So Secret Agent is my pick, but they'll pick Sentimental Value.
I really like Sentimental Value. I'll just counter that. I do really like it. I think the performances are great. I think the way that it tells its story is great. I'm actually gonna. I'm terrible apparently at picking foreign language film because I always forget when they're nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, and all these other categories. There are some things happening in the news currently and in the past couple weeks, and especially with this particular filmmaker. I think the Academy is going to give it to It Was Just an Accident as kind of making up for, whoops, we kind of missed the fact that this film is made by a filmmaker who put himself out there, um, Jafar
Yeah,
Panahi,
yeah,
to make this film about the situation going on in his country that has come to a head now with all the protests. And obviously, I don't think they would, and I don't want to connect the war specifically to the voting process of stuff, but there
right.
are things happening that were, clearly putting it in the spotlight, putting the
Yeah,
country in
I
the
just think
spotlight.
I agree that like that makes sense, and I wish that I don't know. I feel like that narrative just like maybe it happened while voting, but like I didn't see that materialize in any real way. Even though I'd like to think you're right, because that movie is it's very good, and it's an important film. It feels like, and yeah, it definitely. I'm surprised it didn't get into Best Picture, and that like F1 got in there, but they had to sneak in a populist movie, and that was
They
the one they
did.
wanted to
But why,
sacrifice.
of all of them, of all the popular movies that you could have put it, why F1? Such a
I don't know.
bland,
It's
generic
gonna
sports
win.
movie.
It's gonna win something. We're not gonna talk about best sound, but I think F1's gonna win best sound. Like
Probably.
it's just like because I mean, even when I'm picking, I'm just like, yeah, best sound was probably that movie, which had like the most sound,
It
the
was the
most,
loudest. It was
the
the loudest
loudest.
movie.
Yeah, it had a soundtrack that was F1, the soundtrack. People are saying in the comments that Park Chan Wook was snubbed because he was writing during the writer's strike, which was seen as a betrayal, which is a true trade story that was going around. So that's probably true. I think No Other Choice is a great movie. Scabness aside of Park Chan Wook, it's a really good movie. It's kind of ironic that he would do that.
It is for that
Anyway,
movie specifically. That's
yeah,
funny.
maybe, sure.
That is kind of funny.
Oh, brother. Anyway, yeah, Sentimental Value seems like a lock, and I'm interested. Mark thinks they're gonna pick It Was Just an Accident, and I would have picked Secret Agent, and Mark would have picked The Voice of Henry Job. So this was a fun one. I'm glad we talked about that.
It is such a
Yeah.
good year. Just
It
with
is.
the obvious nominees that are right there, and then the one that everybody thought would get in and didn't. If you are not keeping up with your foreign language films this year or last year, catch up with these because they're all quite good. Although you weren't as big in Surat, and I wasn't huge on Surat. If I had to take
Yeah.
one of those movies
Yeah,
out, it would have
easy
been Surat. And
I
put
didn't like
No
Surat at
Other
all.
Choice
I
in
think it's like
easily.
faux intellectual and kind of trashy, which you'd think I would like anyway, but
It's
it
not
didn't work.
faux intellectual and trashy enough for you.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
wasn't. It was
I know
too
exactly what
hoity-toity. Yeah.
I'm not making fun of you. I know exactly what you mean with that because I would feel the same way.
Yeah. It didn't do it for me, but I'm glad it's working for people. The same way I'm glad what did we talk about today that didn't work for me that's working for people? Oh, Undertone.
Yeah.
Not an Oscar not
But it could be
Oscar
for best
film.
sound next year. Who knows?
Oh yeah, maybe they would. I mean, like that would be a fun pick, I guess. Anyway, all right. I guess this is our last category.
Yeah.
It's Best Picture, of which there are 10 nominations, and I want to be clear. Do you remember the rules for the awards? Isn't it technically still up to 10 and not has to be 10?
No, I think it now has to be 10.
When
I
did
think
they? Oh God, they changed it again.
Yeah, I think they changed that. I can look that up while you're listing them.
Yeah, see what AI tells you. It might be wrong or a hallucination, but that's what we have for search engines now. So let's see what happens. Here are the 10 nominees for Best Picture: Bugonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams, which we haven't talked much about, a movie that we both love, but it's just like will be nominated for some stuff and is not going to win anything kind of movie. But I loved Train Dreams. Glad it's represented. So it's definitely down to One Battle After Another versus Sinners in terms of what will win. But if I were voting from this lot of 10 movies, it's obviously One Battle After Another. The movie I picked to win Best Picture, or the movie I called the best movie of the year as soon as I saw it, and it hasn't really budged. I love all these nominations. I love most of these nominations. I love some of these nominations. I love that Marty Supreme got in there, is what I'm saying, and Begonia. But I have a bone to pick with some nominations regarding Begonia. We'll talk about that in a second. But I would vote for One Battle After Another. What would you do, Mark?
I would also vote for One Battle After Another, which of all the movies that are listed of those 10, easily the best one, the one that takes the most risks, the one that pulls off all of that trickery that we talked about when we talked about Paul Thomas Anderson so well. It is the movie of this moment, and it is a great piece of entertainment too beyond that. It's not just, a political statement. It's not just whatever people are taking from it and what they're getting wrong about it too. It is just a really fun almost 3-hour political thriller comedy that you do not see coming, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it pulls off a lot of stuff that other filmmakers wouldn't pull off in a way that I was very impressed with, and am further impressed with every time I watch it. And what do you think they will pick?
I also think they will pick One Battle After Another.
Me too.
But again, it's one of those things. I think that if you start seeing, this is why I'm glad we picked production design so we could talk about that. If Sinner starts winning those technical categories, that maybe could have gone to Frankenstein or something else. F1 maybe.
Yeah.
Since we brought it up, it's up for sound and editing and all those. Those are things that F1 could win. If some other movie other than Sinner starts winning those technical categories, I think you could say One Battle After Another is taking away the big prize at the end of the night. But if Sinner starts racking those up, that means people really did love Sinners and they're just voting for it because they loved it that much. They're not looking at everything. Not that it doesn't deserve it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there are other movies they could have voted for with those precursors. Don't forget the Academy is a big voting block of people from very different, walks of life and career paths and what they specialize in. So it'll be interesting to see. But I still do think One Battle After Another will win Best Picture.
I do too, but again, you're right. There's a scenario where Sinners sweeps and wins, and I think if it does win, then PTA will definitely win Best Director. But there's another scenario where it just sweeps in a big way, and it's Coogler Sinners. That's a scenario that exists because we are that close this year. We don't really know, but that's really exciting, and I couldn't be happier with where things are as far as these movies. Now, let's get into.
So real quick though, I did look it up using Deadline Hollywood, not AI, as my source. In 2021, the Academy went back to the set number of 10 nominees instead of between 5 and 10.
Right.
So in 2011, they changed it to between 5 and 10, and then 2021 they said no, it's just going to be 10.
They gave it 10 years before they were like, "This is weird. Let's do 10."
Yeah, and it was very.
It was weird. Why did you? There were some years where there was probably like 7 or 8. And
yeah,
it
was.
So you're saying like fuck those 3 other movies that could have been
those 3 other movies
like,
that everybody loved. And they're like, why did you put that in there? Why did you vote?
Yeah, why
How
not?
did it
like,
not
what
get
was
just
the threshold? Yeah, so there must have been a vote number threshold, I guess, for that. Very interesting system. I'm glad they made it 10, but then it allows for like the populist pick, like F1 to slip in there. That's just happy to be there.
I mean, that's That's on the Academy voters.
Hey
That's the
man,
movie they all
that's
thought.
the coworker movie of the year. All my coworkers say it's their favorite movie. The people who don't really watch that many movies, so it has representation, and maybe those people will now watch the awards because F1 the song might be performed or something from F1 the album.
But it won't be, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not. It's actually just
Because
Golden
we know it's only
and
2
the Sinners
songs.
song because those are
Yeah.
the Sinner. Oh, we weren't going to talk about it, but Golden's going to win that one. Although
Yeah, I mean,
Sinners could upset again in that, like, if Sinners is taking over scenario, it might win that too. But it seems like Golden is such a huge song that's undeniable that everyone knows. I think Golden's going to win.
even me as one of the few negative reviews of that movie, I think the soundtrack is aces, and that song is
Yeah,
great.
it's
So
an earworm, man.
it
If you have a 2 to 4 5-year-old, you're gonna hear that song a lot. Yeah, I agree, Ronnie. That I'm gonna call you Ronnie. I hope that's okay. It's wild. Weapons wasn't the populist pick. I totally agree. Weapons was totally primed to be the everyone saw this movie. There's many films better than F1 last year, says Uncle B 25, who I don't think is my Uncle Byron, because my Uncle Byron was talking in a different account. That's so funny. Who's Uncle B? Whose uncle are you? But yeah, that was a strange choice in F1. But again, it was a very it made a lot of money at the box office, and it is technically impressive. Joe Kosinski, they did he get awards for he got nominated for Maverick?
yeah, Top Gun
Probably some
Maverick did
technical
well.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's
And
a strange pick, but it
Top
kind of
Gun
makes
Maverick
sense.
is such a fun movie. I need to watch that one again. Speaking of
Yeah,
movies
I
there.
watched that in theaters, and then as soon as it came out on digital, I think like my stepdad bought it when it came out, and we watched it at their house, and it was awesome. Great time. Wicked would have been a better populist pick. Leonard Lopez says, "Nope, sorry, Leonardo Lopez, I don't agree. Wicked Part 2 is so bad, and I was the happiest I was on Oscar nomination day was when Wicked fucking blanked and got nothing."
Considering how well that first one did, how many nominations it got, and how people were thinking, like they opened the Oscar ceremony last year with Wicked, and then it
Who are
gets
these
shunned.
people in our comments standing Wicked? This is crazy. What's good about Wicked for Good? I thought that movie was
I hope.
horrible.
Oh, Conan could do something great with that.
Oh, I hope Conan screams.
If he opens it with Wicked somehow and then says, "Wait, it wasn't nominated" or something like that.
That's a good bet.
I'm excited for Conan because he was very funny last year. So
yeah, Sven fan 87. I think that's a Sven Gulli fan. Love that reference. I still wish Conan was nominated. Sadly, he's probably got snubbed because he's the host. Yes, Conan's great.
Really good, and
Conan's
really
great.
good.
And if I had legs, I'd kick you.
Yep.
I hope he plays around with that, where they show a clip from that movie and he's like doing a riff on that and doing increasingly silly bits with that character. I hope that happens. Leonardo Lopez says, "How did Wicked Jurassic World Rebirth get more nominations than Wicked for Good? That is ridiculous." Hey, that movie had good visual effects. What can I say? Wicked looked bad. Wicked, I said this in a tweet. I think Wicked should win a new award that, like, if well, it's not a new award. It's a new award within the Razzies, in my mind, which is the worst translation from set to screen. Because you look at the set pictures of Wicked, and you look at the costumes of what they did for the Scarecrow and like how practical it was, and then you look at the movie and what's on screen, and it's just full of digital bullshit, and it looks awful, and it's so overexposed and terrible looking. And they filmed that shit on a set, and it looked good at some point. So he should win. John M. Chu should win worst director at the Razzies if they actually cared about the art form, and they would have a new category called worst translation from script to screen, or from set to screen, because Wicked is a shoe-in and should be the inaugural award. Yeah, the Scarecrow was
like an idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I've been thinking about this for a long time. The Scarecrow wasn't digital, someone says. Yeah, no. I saw pictures of a dude in makeup.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the actor who was playing him, but it was a guy in a suit and makeup, and it looked really good. And the movie made it look like garbage.
It made it look terrible.
Everything in that movie looks like garbage. So yeah, that's my take on Wicked, is that it should be sweeping the Razzies if the Razzies actually cared about filmmaking. Or I don't know, you're right. The Strangers Chapter 2 could be nominated for Razzies and be worthy. Any of those Stranger movies. Anyway, that's what we had selected for the show.
I'm gonna hold off on this one. There's a comment here I really like, but I'll hold off until
Okay.
later. Let's real quickly go through snubs because we're coming up on. We were said like an hour. We're coming up on about an hour. So
Yeah.
some
Okay.
of the categories we talk. I mean, we don't have to go away at an hour. I'm just saying for show
No, no,
purposes
no.
and
You got to
time.
eat that fish. I
I
understand.
know it's good. It'll be good. Some snubs for supporting actor. I would have loved to have seen Ben Foster be nominated for Christie. I think that film and his
Oh
performance.
yeah, that movie got a raw deal. I think it's
It
much
really
better
did.
than the headline saying it's like the lowest grossing movie on earth. Should not dissuade you from watching the Sydney Sweeney movie Christie, which is good, and Ben
Yeah.
Foster is great, and I've always loved Ben Foster.
Yeah.
I've talked about Hostage, I'm sure, on this podcast before, a movie from 2003, 4, or 5 that I love, that he's a bad guy in. He's been doing great movies for 20 plus years, consistently great character actor.
Yep, and he's really good and terrifying in Christie. Tessa Thompson in Hedda should have
Yep.
been nominated for Best Actress.
Yep, that's my big snub of
Yeah.
actress category. Tessa Thompson. Everyone should watch Hedda on Amazon. She was honestly snubbed for Best Director. That movie's great looking and well directed. Like, nominate some women. You could throw Nia DaCosta in there. That's fine.
You easily could. Yeah, it's a great,
Yeah.
great work. David Strathairn in A Little Prayer, a movie that got completely overlooked for some reason.
Well, it had a crazy distribution deal. It got
did.
like lost by Sony, and then Music Box picked it up or something. And I don't know if anyone was able to see it. I know the director gave an interview to like Hollywood Reporter and said like how disheartening the experience was, that he's like, I'll never make a movie again because it was so hard to get this movie made and distributed. Horrible. Great movie.
It's
Seek
such
it
a
out.
good movie.
Yeah.
He's great in it.
A Little Prayer. I think it's if it's not streaming somewhere, it's worth renting from somewhere.
If we're doing a lot of kind of weird off-kilter performances and supporting actress at points, Amy Madigan is probably going to win for playing a horror villain. I would have loved to have seen Pamela Anderson be nominated for The Naked Gun. I think she's hilarious in The Naked Gun, and she's doing comedy that is very difficult to do. That sort of deadpan, and I think she's fantastic in it. And but no one was going to vote for her for that. And then I guess for director and picture, I mean, I have a soft spot for The Life of Chuck. I would have loved to have seen Mike Flanagan get a director nom and that get nominated for Best Picture. That movie just completely went under everybody's radar after the festival.
Well, Neon had other priorities. They weren't gonna,
which is too bad.
Yeah,
they were going for the international feature and they almost had 5 out of 5, and so they got 4 out of 5. Life of Chuck got buried.
If we're nominating Pamela Anderson, I'll nominate Danny Houston for Best Supporting Actor because he kills it. He kills it in The Naked Gun. He's very funny. But my biggest snub, I think, is that I think Jesse Plemons should have been nominated for Bugonia. I'm like so perplexed, and I was delighted to see how much Bugonia was nominated for, and yet Plemons wasn't anywhere. Like, Plemons didn't get nominated for that. There was some awards he got nominated for, maybe the Golden Globe or something, where there's a more of a wide net, but he did not get nominated for this. And Jesse Plemons is like the center of Bugonia and is really great in it. And he finally gets a chance to stretch his legs in a Best Actor worthy role. And it sucks they didn't nominate him because I think Plemons should have won for that potentially, and it wasn't even the conversation. So that's sad. Supporting actress, I would throw Nina Hoss in there from Hedda.
She's great.
She's great in that. I would throw potentially Una Chaplin in there because I loved her work as Varang in Avatar, and I think it's worth calling out how good that is. Commenters are saying, people are talking about 28 Years Later snubs, but I'm like, you know what? I was going to mention that, but I'm going to hold it for next year, where I think Ray Fiennes is a fucking shoe-in for the Bone Temple in Best Actor. Fucking awesome movie.
That's how you open the show. You recreate the Bone Temple fire dance.
Oh God, we have to. Oh yes, Conan. It's a shame that movie wasn't nominated for anything because that would be awesome.
If we're invited on Conan's podcast before the award ceremony, we'll bring that up.
Yes, I know.
Siskel and Ebert were on Letterman all the time, so maybe Conan could invite us on his show.
Yeah, Varang should have been nominated. Supporting, is Dylan O'Brien in Twin List supporting or actor? I think best actor.
I'd probably say actor just because he's. Yeah. I mean, that's like
dual
one where it has dual role, and then I think you also that has co-leads. I think.
Yeah, and I would say no offense to, Michael B. Jordan, but I think his performance in Twin List is a better dual performance that really showcases the versatility of his acting ability. It's two totally different people, and you buy it. I thought he was great in that movie, so I would have nominated Dylan O'Brien. I think the biggest unsung, why isn't anyone talking about this award season pick, is probably Jack O'Connell in Sinners, who's so fucking impactful in that movie and was never in the conversation at any point. I think that's kind of crazy because I think he's so good, and he definitely stands out every time I watch it as like kind of a key element of the movie, and he should have been nominated. And I'll just say for fun, Keanu Reeves in Good Fortune, because everyone should watch that movie just to see Keanu Reeves enjoy a cheeseburger and a milkshake or whatever.
He's so funny in that.
He is. A movie
so funny
somewhere.
way only Keanu Reeves can be funny. I was not expecting that to.
And I
he's
think
so delightful of her performance,
and I think Eddington should have been nominated in most categories, and I'm surprised it wasn't more of a contender of like a Best Picture
because it was controversial and everyone
and very upsetting.
And I nobody wanted to talk about COVID already, but
I would have put the Marty Supreme score in. I'm shocked Marty Supreme got so many nominations and didn't get a score nomination, which I think is one of my favorite scores of the year. But I would pick. I'm assuming Johnny Greenwood's nominated for One Battle, and I would pick him if I were picking.
I want to throw out one comment. We were talking about best song. Lee Kulse said, betting it all on Diane Warren losing an Oscar on Sunday. That is a very good bet. She has 17 nominations, has never won. This time she wrote a song for a documentary about her career.
About how she's never
documentary is about the ending of the documentary is about her never winning an Oscar, and everyone says she deserves an Oscar. And then it cuts to her original song for the documentary about her. And I thought that's a choice. That's a choice for a documentary to do. So I don't think that one is going to win.
You don't think it's going to win? You don't think it's going to be stolen by the K-pop Demon Hunter?
It is so obviously self-serving. I cannot believe that that song got nominated, the Diane Warren song, for the Diane Warren documentary by Diane Warren.
You know what's a sure thing though is that she'll be back next year with a nominated film. You just know it. It's 18 years strong. It's in a row, I believe, isn't it, or is it not?
I don't know. I don't think it's in a row.
Yeah, look into it.
She's had many in a row. I know that
much
because it feels like every year she's got something.
Yeah. At this point, she's nominated every year for several years. Anyway, is that our show, Mark? Are we done? Do you have any?
No, I don't see any more. I'm looking for chats real quick.
People are joking about Napa Boys. No. They'll be serving shit and cum wine at the Oscars if the Napa Boys are hosting. Hey, that's a Napa Boys reference that 7 people will get who saw that movie.
That's generous. 7 people watched it, and they're all critics that all complained about it. Someone, Sven fan, the time difference, I got confused. If you missed this, if you're just tuning in now a little late, this will be on replay everywhere where your podcasts are at, where you listen to our show usually. We just did this live to see how it would work out. And if people would watch, you guys came out, you watched, you're commenting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's like 40 of you. This is great.
This is incentive to do this every so often for whatever purpose, and not wear shirt and tie because
that was it was better in theory when I thought I had a bow tie and then I looked stupid without it, and then I threw a beanie on because I didn't shave my head and my head looked stupid. So
if we do this every year, we'll eventually be renting tuxes to do it. So we actually look like Gene and Roger doing it.
Yes, ideally. All right, what do we got here? Peter Cunnington says early Oscar predictions. Meryl Streep will be nominated for Devil Wears Prada 2. Great call. I like that call. I think based on the trailer, that's not going to happen because that trailer, I think the Blank Check podcast commented on it or something. They were joking about how it's like, is the premise of this movie that Miranda got in, whatever her name is, Meryl Streep's character, has a brain injury and she can't remember these people, because the trailer is just not pretending not to know the Emilys, or like actually not knowing who they are because they're so inconsequential in her life or whatever. And it's like a funny joke, but it also does come off as she just hit her head and doesn't remember anything anymore. But anyway, that's just a silly joke. We'll be back next Friday with a new episode of the show. And if you didn't listen to today's episode, it is out there. It's on the main feed. It's on YouTube here. And keep watching. Thank you guys for your support. We'll be back in our regularly scheduled time. Goodbye. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Andre.